Joao Gomes to Manchester United has been heating up over the last few days, and there's now even more reports linking us to the star and linking Manchester United to making a January move for Joao Gomes. In terms of midfield move, Manchester United have all the paperwork done for the Carlos Baleba deal. It's a deal that Baleba wants to do. It's a deal that Man United still want to do, and it's a deal that is believed can be done and over the line soon. We've got a few other updates in the likes of Sekou Kone going on loan, a new target revealed from Sporting, Amorim's management style and how he's been quite strict this season with players, United potentially making a new young goalkeeper signing, which might surprise people because we kind of look at it and think, well, do we need a new young goalkeeper? We've got Le Mans, we've got Vitek. I know what you mean. There's stories on that. We'll talk about Maino injury boost and more. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup show. But I'm going to round up all the latest Manchester United news in 10 minutes. I do apologise, there's no live stream today. I have had the morning of just pure chaos. So many things have happened. I've been on hold for like 3 hours today trying to sort things, and I'm very hungover. But I will try and get a live stream done tomorrow. Story number 1. Ruben Amorim and the Ineos hierarchy are considering a move for Joao Gomes as early as January. The Brazilian is a player who ticks many of Wilcox's required criteria. So, Joao Gomes is a player I've actually been linked to for a while. We weren't actually linked to him this summer, but we were linked to him a little bit last summer before we signed Agate. I actually got information that we were looking at him and did an exclusive on Joao Gomes last summer, that he was a player that United were keeping an eye on, which is quite interesting in that sense. Now, in regards to Joao Gomes, he's a good player. Obviously, Wolves aren't in the best position. I don't see Wolves selling in January because Wolves want to stay up, and Joao Gomes is one of their better players and one of the best chances of staying up. But I know if Wolves go down, they'll have to sell Joao Gomes on the cheap. He's a player that is obviously going to tick many boxes, physically, athletically, Premier League, proving he's a good player. My opinion is I would want Elliot Anderson and Joao Gomes, if you know what I mean. Joao Gomes is a second midfield signing, and I'm happy for us to bring him in. But our first midfield signing needs to be an Elliot Anderson type player or a Carlos Baleba type player. I don't see us getting him in January, but I think it might be seen as more likely than Wharton, Baleba and Anderson, purely due to the price. But David Ornstein spoke about Baleba the other day. He thinks that deal was probably most likely for United. And Ben Jacobs is talking about Baleba today. It seems like Carlos Baleba is the most likely deal for Manchester United in midfield. Despite probably most of us wanting Elliot Anderson more now, it looks like it could be Baleba. Ben Jacobs said this on the United stand yesterday. Man United have done all the legwork for the deal for Baleba. They have got the buy-in from the player. It is a realistic possibility this deal could happen in the summer. So this was said by Ben Jacobs. Man United have done all the legwork in the deal for Baleba. They have got the buy-in from the player. They've basically done all the paperwork, everything that needs to be done in that sense. They've done all that little bit of work that needs to be done. They've done the legwork, they've got the buy-in for the player, they've done essentially pretty much the paperwork that needs to be done, just not the official stuff. So it's a realistic possibility that deal could happen in the summer. Now, obviously with Baleba, we have to then agree a fee with Brighton, and Brighton have to agree to let Baleba go. That's what's stopping it. Baleba's given the yes. We spoke to Baleba, we spoke to his agent, Ineos have approved it. Everything is done, apart from us giving Brighton a price that Brighton are like, okay, we'll accept that price. If Brighton accepts a bid from us, then the Baleba deal is essentially done. But Brighton is saying we're not going to accept anything in January. Wait till the summer. But there is a strong feeling and a strong possibility that Brighton are going to accept a deal in the summer, but probably not January. Now, let's talk about Manchester United's new transfer target. So let's talk about the latest player linked to Manchester United, a Sporting Lisbon player, but not a player that Amorim will have used a lot because it's a young player at Sporting Lisbon, and it is prospect Salvador Baleba, who can play right back or right midfield. And Manchester United are keeping an eye on him. He's said to have a really good blend of technical and physical traits, has been actually linked to the likes of, compared to the likes of Nuno Mendes, but is obviously a bit more physical and a bit more defensive than Nuno Mendes, but it's one that United are keeping an eye on. He can operate at right back and in midfield, and is compared to former teammate Nuno Mendes due to his dynamic running and strong reading of the game. He's 6'2". He's definitely a more physical presence than Nuno Mendes, but he's a presence in both defence and attack, right back and right midfield. So he seems to be maybe an attacking-minded, physical powerhouse sort of right back, potential right wing back prospect, which would be interesting. We know that United are keeping an eye on wing backs and would like to bring in a wing back. I still think a left wing back would make more sense than right wing back. I also think with Dorgu being a prospect, Diego Leon being a prospect, if we're going to bring in a prospect, it needs to probably be a right wing back, not a left wing back prospect, because we've also got Harry Amas. But I do think we need a ready-made left wing back to go in. You know, Dorgu's young, Leon's young, Amas is young, Baleta's young. I feel like the only ready-made wing back we have is Ahmad, because Mazraoui's better at centre-back, I think, in the system, and Delo is just not a wing-back. But it could be one to keep an eye on. It's a player that I'm not super familiar with, but if we get linked to him more, I will keep an eye on it. But that is a new target for Manchester United. Continuing on into the next story. Man United are planning to loan out Sekou Kone in January so that he can gain professional playing time at another club. I spoke about this briefly yesterday. Sekou Kone, very highly rated inside Manchester United. They don't think they're going to be able to give him minutes this season, considering Maino and Agati aren't getting minutes. It's going to be a struggle to even give Sekou Kone maybe the minutes that Sekou Kone would like to get. So United are like, well, he's had injury issues, which has kind of held him back. He's in the under-21s. We probably can't give him first team minutes, but we think he's good enough to be playing first team football. So it's sort of a situation where Man United would like to send Sekou Kone out on loan. I think if any academy player is going to get minutes this season, it's going to be Shea Lacey, due to Ahmad and Mbeumo being AFCON and Shea Lacey being in that role. I think because we've only got one game a week, it's very difficult for academy players to get minutes and to get opportunities this season, when we can't even give Xerxes and Maino the minutes. I think next season, if we're back in the Europa League, or even better, the Champions League, you know, I think there will be a lot more opportunities for young players and players like Sekou Kone to get a chance. But I'd like to see Sekou Kone go on loan to the Championship. I don't want him sent to Lausanne. I'd quite like to see what he does in the Championship. Now I want to get on to Laurie Whitmore's report on Ruben Amorim and his management style, and how Amorim is quite ruthless. So we touched upon this the other day, but Laurie Whitmore said a few things. Amorim delivers most feedback in group settings to maintain authority and transparency. If he's telling someone off, everyone's there to look at it and put their opinion, I guess. He told Agati that his work rate had dropped compared to his Sporting days, and he did it in a team meeting, not privately. I guess that's also showing he's just because I work with him at Sporting doesn't mean he's my favourite. I'll call you all out. He wants to keep a professional distance from player. He doesn't do the social events, and he doesn't want an overly personal relationship with his players. He uses this approach to be seen as manager, not father figure. Bruno is the exception. Amorim and Bruno have a strong two-way relationship with frequent one-on-one discussions, but Bruno is the captain. But that's what I like about Amorim, and I said this in my live stream the other day. I think Ollie was too buddy-buddy, best friends of all the players, and I think some players felt that, you know, they could disrespect him. I think with Ruben Amorim making it clear he's the manager, not the father figure, he's not your friend, I think Ruben Amorim has that little bit more authority over the players, and I think Ruben Amorim is very much in charge of that dressing room, very much in control. With Ruben Amorim, I'm only questioning his tactics and his adaptability as a manager. I'm not questioning his man management, his ability to get the bad eggs out of the club, his ability to control the dressing room, because I think the dressing room is got mostly good eggs in. You can argue, is Delo good enough? Is Agati good enough? But I don't think they're troublemakers. I don't think they're bad eggs. I think, you know, the personality of the dressing room is good. Maybe we lack confidence. Maybe we lack mentality in that aspect. But I do look at Ruben Amorim and think that he does have a bit of authority in that dressing room. Continuing on into other stories. So reports are coming out from Sweden that United are keen on signing 22-year-old Swedish goalkeeper Melker Elborg from Malmo. Multiple clubs are monitoring his progress, and as he's being considered as one of the best young keepers in Sweden. So this is what's been said on him. I just think we've got Vitek, we've got Le Mans. Do we need another young keeper in? Unless we're planning to sell Vitek, I don't know. We'll see how Le Mans does. I don't really give a crap about any keeper news. Tom Eaton's going to need replacing. Bayendy is going to need replacing. So we'll probably bring in a keeper. And look, Maino hasn't been getting a lot of minutes. He's already a little bit of an injury. But I think there will be minutes for Maino around the corner. And Man United expect Maino to be fit for the Everton game after missing Spurs. It's not meant to be serious. So that's good stuff there. So that's all your Man United news in 10 minutes. We're looking at a young defender that's been compared to Nuno Mendes, but on the right, but more physical. We're talking about Amorim's management style, the Swedish goalkeeper we're looking at. The legwork for Baleba is pretty much done. United have pretty much done what they need to do for Baleba in terms of legwork. We're looking at Joao Gomes' potential January move and more. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching today's 10-minute roundup. See you next time. Bye.